Hey guys, today we're having a look at how to make comparisons between things. So for example, saying that A is more something than B. So here we have our structure and we start with A, or whatever the thing is that we want to compare, followed by noほうが, and then we follow with B, which is the thing we want to compare it to, followed by yori, and then the adjective des. So for example, Tokyo is bigger than Yokohama. Tokyo noほうがYokohama yori大きいです. Now we can structure it the other way around. So we can start with B, which is the thing that we're comparing to, followed by yori, and then A, which is the thing that we are comparing, followed by noほうが, and then our adjective and des. So for example, China is bigger than Japan. 日本より中国の方が大きいです. So effectively what you're saying is China compared to Japan is bigger. Now if we want to ask someone about a comparison, so for example, how is A compared to B? We can start with A wa, and I've got it in brackets here because if you're already discussing the topic, you don't necessarily need to refer to it again. So you can actually leave this part out if we already know what we're talking about. So then we can follow with B, which is the thing we're comparing it to, and then we attach this phrase to 比べてどうですか or と比べてどうでしたか if we want to put it into a past tense. We can also follow with と比べてどう思いますか or と比べてどう思いましたか. So in our previous lesson, we looked at the verb 思います, which means to think. So in this case, what did you think of the celebration of Japan's お正月 compared to New Year's Eve? 日本のお正月のお祝いは New Year's Eve と比べてどう思いましたか? So と比べて means compared to, and then we have どう思います, which is how did you think or what did you think, or どうですか, which is how is it. We can also put those things into their past tense to express what did you think as opposed to what do you think, or how was it as opposed to how is it. In this case, we want to ask someone which is more something, and we want to give them some options, A or B, for example. So for example, which do you think is more something, A or B? A と B とどっちの方が, and then our description or adjective, and we finish with ですか or と思いますか. ですか means is something, as opposed to と思いますか, which means think something. So for example, which is more interesting, soccer or baseball? サッカーと野球とどっちの方が面白いですか? Or who do you think is taller, 太郎 or 次郎? 太郎くんと次郎くんとどっちが背が高いと思いますか? So in our first example, we're asking which is something, and in our second example, we're asking which do you think something. So please note that in written or formal language, どちら is used rather than どっち. どちら is a more formal, polite way of expressing どっち. So how do we answer comparison questions? For example, A is better or more delicious, etc. Or I think A is more something. So A の方が followed by our adjective and des, or と思います. So for example, I think that Japan's お正月 celebration is more enjoyable. 日本のお正月のお祝いの方が楽しいと思います. So in this case, we're giving our opinion or how we feel about something, what we think about something. In our second example here, soccer is more fun. サッカーが面白いです. You'll also notice in our second example that we've omitted の方 before the ga. It's not necessarily needed. You can leave it out if you wish to. On the topic of food and drink, when you're asked which do you prefer, coffee or tea, they might say コーヒーと紅茶とどっちの方がいいですか? So which do you prefer? どっちの方がいいですか? You can simply answer in one of the following ways. Coffee or tea, depending on which you choose, please. コーヒーをお願いします or 紅茶をお願いします. Or if you wish to be a little less formal, you could say something like コーヒーがいいです or 紅茶がいいです Or if you wish to decline the offer, you can just simply say, Iie kekkou desu, which means nothing, thank you, I'm fine. So that's about all for this one, but if you have any questions or comments, please let me know.